Good morning or afternoon, depending on your time zone. Welcome to the 8th edition of the TD2L Pro Series. I am TheMantis, and I need to switch my display. There we go. 8th edition TD2L Pro Series. This will be after last 2 weeks ago, rather. Unfortunately, we were not able to play as we ended up going from 6 teams registered on Thursday to a paltry 3 teams by Saturday, so we were not able to continue. This time we have 5 pretty solid teams, actually, and I am excited to get going. Let me explain the format first of all, because, again, with a standard single elimination bracket, we would not be able to... one team would basically have to have a bye. That would be the first seed. They would have to wait around for several hours, possibly. We don't want any part of that. So here is our 5-team format with 1 bye for each team and no other breaks otherwise. There's a single group with 5 rounds. All teams will play one another in a best of 1, and 1 team will have a bye in each round. The top 4 teams from the group will advance to the single elimination 4-team bracket. The first tiebreaker is head-to-head, obviously. If there is a multi-way tie, we will have to go to time rating. No choice about that, because tiebreakers obviously would take a long time, and no one wants to wait around for a 3-team tiebreaker. Looking at you, return of A and B. Then the prize pool distribution, it will be the standard distribution of $100 to the first place team, $50 for second place, $25 and $25 for third and fourth. However, if the semifinals losing teams wish to challenge each other for the whole prize pool, they may play a best of 1 or best of 3, whichever they select, and the winner will take both $25 prize pools, and the loser will get nothing. And now let's get into our teams. We have a lot of new teams, or a lot of new players at least. Our number 5 seed is Silk. This is their first TD2L, although they have some familiar players. This is Peik, Ryu, La Sole, Siete, and Austin. They are the parts of the former Stalacy Esports team. They had a forfeit in our 6th edition against SKG mid-series because those boys were giving them too much heat. So they're running it back with 3 new players, and like the previous team, like Steel Borko, Peik is also a pretty hard rising carry. We see a lot of active carries, a lot of carry movement fairly early for the most part in TD12. So it is interesting to see, especially Brazilian teams. They tend to like this hard carry. We saw Killsteel Esports with ARMS. We saw Steel Borko, and now we're seeing Peik. So expect heavy farm priority on the 1 POS. Expect a lot of protection for that 1 position hero as well. Ryu on the 2 POS is still easily their strongest player. He's really good. Even when Stalacy was having some tougher games in the 6th edition, Ryu, not a joke. His Ember Spirit, and when they lost to Mimikyu, was having... the KDA didn't look so good near the end because they were really struggling, but he played absolutely out of his mind. Very sick. And that is my hero to watch for this team. Watch out for the Ryu Ember Spirit. He was easily the highest hero damage in that game against Mimikyu, despite his team getting pretty much throttled from the get-go. He's a very stylish, very strong mid player, so I'm looking forward to seeing him play once again. Now we have the new number 1 most played TD2Ls team. It is Remzi Sakai Adventure. This is their 5th TD2L this will be the 7th one that was actually played since we skipped the 6th. So they're in 5 out of 7, pretty good. This team just keeps getting better and better. The last tournament they played, they lost to Sanking Gomez in the elimination bracket, but during, I believe, round 3. But this team keeps pressing Sanking Gomez closer and closer every time they play them, and if they keep playing like they do, they were very close to taking an insurmountable lead in Game 3. It was on a knife's edge at about 25 minutes in. They just could not close the deal. Although they have a slightly different roster this time, it will be Wake Me Up instead of God of GUI, and the other 4 players are the same: Thena, Rem, Zor, and Jed. They love, the opposite of the other team who loves focusing on their carry player, they love to deny the enemy carries game. They are super aggressive about moving into the enemy safe lane fairly early, pre 8 minutes even sometimes, and they will follow him around to his grave. RIA is, if you're an enemy team, they are the worst kind of lower MMR team to face. In terms of rankings, they might be lowest or second lowest in TD2L this series. However, their teamwork is very strong, and they punch well above their weight. They've gotten so close to beating Sanking Gomez once or even twice, actually, I believe, which is a team with a lot of high-ranked players. And this team is very scary to play against because You might think that based on the rankings you might have an advantage, but their teamwork is exceptional. Do not underestimate this team. With God of GUI, I'm not sure if this is still the case, but he prefers 5-position safe supports. I don't know if that's a team decision or a personal decision, but they love their hard dispels, they love their purges, Omni Knight, Abaddon, heroes like that. The question I have about this team, though, is how integral is the captain to their... I haven't been listening to their in-game comms, although I could if I wanted to, because I'm, the admin. But I haven't been snooping yet. How integral is he to their in-game communication? Will Wake Me Up be able to play a similar role? If so, we'll see. I think the hero to watch here, still same as last time, is that TheMantis. He is very adept at getting the 15-minute flat shard timing, and the Techie shard, if you get it at 15 minutes and you turn 1 or 2 fights, you can just auto-win the game. It's so strong. Massive AoE, big stun. He is a very dangerous hero specialist, so watch out for him. Now, for their first TD2L, the number 3 seed, Team Kingy, or KNGI. This is Fonky, Rabao 100%, Makucho, Nameless 9299, who was formerly Leo with Sand King Gomez, and Boss. We love to see these kinds of teams in TD2L, first timers, high ranked Americas players, some unknowns and some attitude, and I'll get into that in a second. But this is the kind of team that we like to see. Maybe some all chatting here or there. With Maloy is unfortunately not able to play today. He and his Monka-Cola team do not have power because of Russian airstrikes in Ukraine. I love their player who has, I believe, the 3 position for this team. It is Makucho, but his current name is either El Estupido or Playing Drunk IDC. I love that. That's my favorite name that I've seen in TD2L so far. I am rooting for El Estupido in my heart, though not in my head because I'm an admin and I got to be impartial. Their support duo is very strong. Like, they have super strong supports. However, my question about this team, two of their core players have a rank higher than 500. They are overbalanced a bit on the support players. Can the cores keep pace with the top 200 level cores of other teams? It's a legit question, and it depends on what their playstyle is. And one of the questions I have about this team's playstyle is, what will Makucho play in the offlane? Because he seems to be, based on his history, a support main. And Pango I have as the hero to watch because it seems to be one of his few comfort offlaners. But what I would think, and this is just, I'm 1.6k MMR, what do I know? But I think that an interesting idea, at least in TD2L, would be to pick some of those staple 4-position heroes as offlaners. Because if he's got lots of experience on them, he's comfortable with them, picking things like Earth Spirit, those aggressive offlaners that can make movements, and he's more comfortable with. I think that might be worth looking into at the very least, and just picking 2 hard farming 1 and 2 positions. Now, our number 2 seed, Sand King Gomez. This is their 3rd TD2L. They lost the grand final in the 6th edition to Return of A and B. This team looks very different from the last time you saw them. This is Nappy, Pikachu, Amen, Skyward, and Ray DeReyes. They have 4 players replaced. Leo is playing on Kingy. He is, as you saw, he is Nameless 9299. London 9 are on Mexico, the Mexico team for the IESF and Bali. Good luck to them once again. But they do still have their very strong carry player, Ray DeReyes, so they are not lacking in firepower. And most of their, aside from the loss of possible synergy, their player rank average is very similar to what it was before. They still look super dangerous. I would still consider them a favorite for the grand finals along with our number 1 seed. SKG did look stronger against Return of A and B last time, but they also looked weaker against Rim's Isekai Adventure, who was, again, very close to taking an insurmountable lead in that Game 3 before a couple of lost fights doomed their upset bid. Can the stand-in team find their balance and take a TD2L? I'm looking forward to it. I think the hero to watch here is the Faceless Void on Ray DeReyes. He likes his ranged carries. That's been a focus for him recently. However, a solid Void player, he can make it very easy for teamfight execution. And if you have a new team with lots of players who haven't played together before, just dump your spells in Chronosphere. Everyone cast your spell, easy. So I think this hero might be one to watch out for. Finally, our returning champions, the number 1 seed, it's the return of Alien Mana Banana. This is their 3rd D2L. They are a one-time champion. This team has also had a 1 roster change. This is Napkin, FCR, D-Flash, CFY, and the man himself, Alien Mana Banana. The returning champions look strong. They're probably still the best team in the tournament. They also have the ping advantage as they are one of our 2 NA teams as well. CFY is their new 4 position. They've swapped out B-God, and now he is their 4. He looks like a super aggressive 4 position player. Loves roaming heroes with stuns, Earthshaker, or Spirit, stuff like that. He can secure early map control, secure runes, and A and B is an aggressive mid, so I'm sure he would love the double water rune if possible. This is a confident team, but I would say, based on my analysis of the Game 2 Grand Final, I thought that draft was very cocky against SKG. I think they thought they had that series in the bag, and SKG, after losing 50-7 to a Meepo, immediately responded with a beautiful carry Sven pick and punished the Broodmother very hard. Does being the best team weaken their powers? They might get a little bit too overconfident, which is a good weakness to have. It means you're still the best. I think the hero to watch here, as I mentioned, FCR has like 500 games on Meepo. They absolutely destroyed Sand King Gomez in the grand final last time with that Meepo. Yeah, make sure you have the AoE. The SKG went for the Sven in game 2 just in case, and won with that. So we'll see if other teams take that to heart. All right, and here's the schedule. Obviously, the pre-show, you're watching that right now. There are 5 rounds of best of ones. Each team gets a bye during those rounds. So in round 1, game 1, we have the return of A&B versus Sand King Gomez. That will be starting in about 8 minutes. That will be on the Radicast, twitch.tv/the_Radicast. And then the second game will be between Team Kingy and Rim's Isekai Adventure at twitch.tv/Repcar. And the games will more or less go the same way. Repcar will be casting all of the game 2s. Radicast will be the first 3 game 1s, after which I will take over and I will cast round 4, game 1. I should say round 4. I can't type very well, it seems like. There's lots of round 2s in here. But the 3:15 game is round 4. That will be on the TD2L official channel at twitch.tv/TD2L_official. And the same thing for round 5, game 1. If you want to follow Return of A and B, for example, you can just stick with Rada and then switch to me once Rada is offline. Otherwise, you can watch the Repcar stream. He will be casting all 5 game 2s. And then, once that's over, the top 4 teams will advance. The semifinals will be cast by Dame Das at twitch.tv/ringleader. All these links are in the Discord as well. And then I will be casting the 2 seed versus the 3 seed, unless, of course, the winner of the group stage picks a different opponent. And finally, the grand finals, Rada will be back casting with Crucial, best of 3, winner of semifinal 1 versus winner of semifinal 2. And now, before I finish with this, what I should do is open up my Discord so I can look at the thing I wanted to look at. I wanted to talk about the formats for a second. The ideal format for us, obviously, is an 8-team single elimination tournament. That way, teams max out at about 9 games. However, the problem with that is, 1, we don't always have 8 teams, of course. And 2, you minimum out at 2 games. If you play 2 games and get eliminated, this thing you signed up for, you kind of a waste of time. You didn't get to play too many games. What I've been trying to do with the past couple tournaments where we have fewer than 8 teams is strike a reasonable balance between those 2 extremes. Because anywhere between 2 and 9 games is a very, it's a wide commitment to make for when you possibly won't get all the experience that you wanted to, obviously. So what we're trying to do here in this format, if you look, the minimum number, there is a bye. The bye is one thing we also want to avoid. Obviously, teams don't like waiting around when they schedule something, but each team only has 1 bye in this format, and each team will play at minimum 4 games, the maximum number of games being 9, which, again, is kind of where we want to be, right? Instead of between 2 and 9, now every team gets to play between 4 and 9 games. We also have to make sure, of course, that this works for our casters. And as you can see, I had to step in for a couple games because we didn't have enough, but that's all right. That's why I keep myself in reserve. But as always, if you have any questions about the formats, how we devise the formats for when we do not get our ideal 8-team setup, or just want to give me suggestions, please DM me on Discord. Discord is TheMantis, hashtag, I believe it's like 4469 or something like that. Let's go check. I'll figure it out later. You just go in Discord and DM TheMantis. I'm an admin. You can figure it out. With that being said, we are 5 minutes from game time. I hope everyone's ready. If you want to check out the first set of games, they are at twitch.tv/the_Radicast for Return of A&B versus Sand King Gomez. And twitch.tv/repcar for Team KNGI versus Rim's Isekai Adventure. I am the Dota 1 hero and item creator, TheMantis. It has been a pleasure speaking with you, and good luck to all the teams. GG's.